Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Journal, and welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. We have two heavyweights on the Nevada political scene. Randi Thompson has the rundown.
That's right, Ray. We have Secretary of State and congressional candidate Dean Heller, and we have the Governor Guinn's Chief of Staff and former opera singer Mike Hillerby.
And on the pundit panel today, we have Marlene Lockard, Bob Barengo, and Matt Sharp on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. We have with us Dean Heller, Nevada Secretary of State. Dean, good to be here with you.
Thank you, Ray.
Good to see you, Dean. Well, obviously, you're running for Congress. Exciting news.
Moving forward.
And there's somebody else in the race now, it looks like, Sharon Angle. And generally, conservatives are the ones that vote in a primary. And Sharon is quite the conservative candidate.
Right.
How do you battle that? How do you and Don not just split the moderates and Sharon win?
Well, I don't anticipate running against Dawn. I don't anticipate running against Sharon. You know, I'm running for the congressional seat. I think there's room for candidates, and if Sharon wants to get involved in this race, so be it. The more the merrier.
Very diplomatically said.
Do you think that Sharon Angle, of course, our listeners and viewers in Las Vegas, she is a Reno Assemblywoman, head of the Prop 13 package at the legislature. Do you think that her candidacy or her potential candidacy would take away votes more from Don or you?
Well, actually, I, as an observer, would love to see a Dawn-Sharon Angle race. Watch the two of those go at each other. I mean, you're talking polar opposites of those two people. I just hope that I can bring some moderation between those two factions.
Okay. Earlier this week, Dean, we talked about a proposed bill at the legislature that would boost the salaries of Nevada's constitutional officers. You really didn't think that this was necessary, did you?
Well, I don't know if it's not necessary. I just said it wouldn't make a difference in whether or not I would run for Secretary of State or Lieutenant Governor or whatever the positions are. I mean, whether you boost it from 80,000 to 100,000, I don't think it's going to determine the type of candidate that you get running. I didn't run for Secretary of State because I was concerned about the salary. I was concerned about what I could do for my constituency and what I thought was best for Nevada. There are some people out there that disagree with me. They do think that if you boost the salary of some of these constitutional officers, that you're going to get a higher quality candidate. I just can't see that happening.
Well, we've got enough people running for governor already.
Look at how many people are running for Secretary of State now, and you haven't boosted the salary. I think there's at least 7 that have announced. You have at least that many for lieutenant governor. I mean, and then you've got a bunch running in the governor's race. So clearly, the salary's not the issue.
Maybe we should cut it, huh?
Hey, when I first ran, it was 64,000, then they moved it to 80,000. Again, that was never an issue to me.
Well, I think with the outstanding work that you have done and Brian Krolicki has done, I don't think money really does make a difference in that race.
I think in most cases, I mean, take a look at the legislature. I mean, the legislature doesn't pay well, and you get you get quite a few candidates in those races also. So, I mean, if money was the driving force, then there would be nobody running for the legislature today.
Well, having run for the legislature, I knew what I had to give up to do it.
Me too.
But I was curious when I saw the salary discrepancy that the lieutenant governor, the number 2 position, gets paid the least, and I found that a little odd. Unless it's a great travel budget, what is that? That was just surprising.
It's the only constitutional office that you can have outside employment. When I first came in 10 years ago, it was paid $20,000 a year. Then they boosted it to $50,000 a year. I don't know what they're trying to change it to now, 50 to 60.
Yeah.
But it's the only constitutional office that's part-time. So you can have outside employment, and I believe that's why it's paid less.
Okay, now another bill up is getting rid of term limits. If this was already passed, you might be the Secretary of State for another 8 years.
God save us, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, amen. What do you think about that?
I don't support it. In fact, I had a conversation with someone yesterday. I've been Secretary of State now for 10 years. It is time for somebody else. Come in, fresh ideas, new ideas. I've made a lot of changes in that office, but there is room for improvement, and I think the next Secretary of State will bring those ideas and those improvements with them. I think you can stay in an office too long and just settle in and just become, a fixture in that office. And I think new blood at all levels is very good for government.
Okay.
Well, before you go, obviously there's still some work to do, and you've done an incredible job of getting the new voting machines for the state. Yeah. But Clark County still has some hurdles that you want to help out with.
Yeah. By this next election in 2006 is what I promised the voters, that we'd have a paper trail on every machine. They have the old style electronic voting machines in Clark County that do not have the printers attached to them. And I said that those machines had to be retrofitted by 2006, this next election coming up. The vendor just told us that that would almost be impossible. It would probably be cheaper just to buy the new machines as opposed to retrofitting the old machines. So I have a piece of legislation now at the legislature, I think it's Senate Bill 501, that would add an additional $15 million to the Help America Vote Act so that we can convert all of Clark County to the new machines.
That's great.
Dean, as you leave the office of Secretary of State, what would you like your legacy to be other than a good basketball player and a stock car driver?
I thought that was good.
That's enough? Okay, we'll remember you in history as the guy who could shoot a J.
I think that, in my opinion, I made a lot of changes. I think people who now walk into the Secretary of State's office, first of all, the door has been open for 10 years. Anybody who wanted to come into the Secretary of State's office for the last 10 years didn't have to go through secretaries, didn't have to go through some front desk. My office door has always been open. And that's where I got the majority of my ideas. People that could walk directly into my office, ask me questions, and we were able to bounce back and forth. That's why you saw a tremendous amount of change in the last 10 years, but because of the access people had to my office.
Well, that access, that's why the press corps ate their lunch in your office all the time. That's all you have room
So did the
for.
Capitol Police.
Yeah, kind of messy in there. We'll be right back after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
When you need a new employee, how can you be sure who you're really hiring? A background investigation by Employer Links will uncover criminal records, verify the applicant's education, check their credit history and Social Security verification. An investigation will research professional licenses and driver's licenses and let you know why they're unemployed. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
You are watching Nevada Newsmakers.
Hey, welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. Now we have Michael Hillerby, Governor Guinn's Chief of Staff. Michael, thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, glad to be here.
He's Fred's son, by the way.
Well, I play that you're an opera singer, so.
I appreciate it,
yeah.
I think.
It's a man of many talents. Come on. So, obviously, the Gazette-Journal story today about the controversial proposal on retiree health benefits.
Right.
Explain it.
You know, we've looked at a growing liability in that program for a long time. I think your viewers would probably be somewhat surprised if they haven't read the story to know that all of our state employees, when they retire, receive a subsidy for their health care for the rest of their lives. It's a wonderful benefit. It's simply one we can't afford to continue to offer in its current form, and we don't think we can look the taxpayers in the face and say you should continue to pay that when you can't get it for yourself. Nobody in the private sector, essentially nobody's offering that. It's disappearing rapidly in the public sector. We want to do some things to be sure those people have coverage. We want to guarantee them access to our health plan once they retire, guarantee them the group rate. They have a deferred compensation plan available to them. There are some things we can do to make sure that those people have options. But for us to pay, in some cases, we're paying anywhere from the low 200s to almost $1,300 a month in state money for the rest of the lives of these retirees, depending on what health plan they're in and how many years they had in state service. It's just not something we can ask people to foot the bill for.
Is it a phased out approach? I mean, are people coming into the workforce
we
now?
would start with only new employees. This would have no impact on our existing employees, no impact on existing retirees. We will continue to pay Medicare premiums, so once they retire, they would be eligible for Medicare. The big issue is we now have to, like the private sector had to do about a dozen years ago, we will now have to account for the unfunded liability. That's the future cost of this plan that we don't have the money in the bank for now. That liability could be as high as $4.5 billion. That has to go on the state's balance sheet. That's going to affect our bond rating, the expense of doing bonds, our ability to do things, and have an impact on public finance that we don't think we can ignore.
Okay, Michael, a big thing with the voters of Nevada is Governor Guinn's vehicle registration rebate, where you could get as much as $300 rebate on every car that you register. We're all waiting for that bill to come out. What's the deal with that? Where's that stand? When are you going to roll that out?
It's a budget bill, so it's not in the normal deadlines. It'll come out of drafting when it's done. Obviously, this is a very busy time right now as people are trying to get all their bills out of committee and get amendments drafted. There's no time deadline on that one. That'll be a decision that'll be made very late in the session when the legislature and the governor see all the final numbers for the budget, the economic forum, and other things. So there's no particular deadline for that bill. Still very much a very important project for the governor. Feels very strongly this economy's done well. It's done well because people have exhibited tremendous faith, made decisions to invest in business, start jobs, move here, bring their families here. They ought to share in that. We've got enough money to meet the needs of the state, and we can't really look those taxpayers in the face and say we'll just keep everything we got when we did better than we thought we were.
Okay, now the cap is $300 on this rebate. Right. But in the last few weeks of the legislature, we see a big hole in the distributive school account, which funds our schools. We see holes in this. This money seems to be dissipating very quickly. do you think that the $300 cap might be lowered to $200 or $100 to take care of everybody?
I think we can still stay very close to the $300 cap, if not all that. One thing the governor did say is when the final property tax relief piece comes out, and obviously there'll be what we call a trailer bill for the end of the session to take care of whatever cleanup, and we know the final impact on the counties. For example, you talked about the hole in funding education and K-12 education. About $45 million that property tax relief bill that was just passed left. That was a hole left in that school funding. We'll need to fill that. Governor said if there's meaningful property tax reform that has helped the taxpayers, he's willing to talk about using a portion of that money for the rebate and say we can help fill any holes left by that, because that was in fact tax relief for all those homeowners out there. Right. But a lot of people that are renting, don't own their own homes, are out there, they've paid sales tax, they paid registration fees, they paid other things that help generate the surplus. They can still get some of that back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, another big money issue is obviously the Millennium Scholarships.
Right.
And right now the proposal for 20 hours of community service, which I think is a little wacky, but why not look at a means test, or why not look at increasing the GPA as a way to really solidify that scholarship?
I think you need to separate a couple of things. There are potential fixes out there to talk about changing the GPA, how many credits are you eligible for, do we pay for summer classes, what do we pay for at community colleges, what do we pay for at some of the community colleges that offer specific four-year degree programs like nursing, which you have a shortage in. There's a lot of internal fixes like that you can do. What do you need to do to maintain the scholarship? The other issue about means testing is a separate issue. We're absolutely opposed to mean testing. It would essentially destroy the Millennium Scholarship. That scholarship was meant to say, if you do well in school, you have an opportunity to go to college, and we think it's important to keep you here. There are sort of two groups of people that the governor wanted to hit when he created that scholarship. One were those students who were doing well and were going to think about going elsewhere for their higher education. We know that once you get there, you get married, you tend to put down roots, you're less likely to come back to Nevada. We wanted to keep the best and the brightest here. The other are those kids who maybe hadn't thought about going to high school. Hadn't thought about going to college, rather. Money may have been part of the issue, it may not. Maybe they were the first generation in their family that had the opportunity to go to college. Someone now, a high school counselor, sits down and says, hey, you've got an opportunity now. Work hard. You can get this grade. You can go in. Shouldn't talk about income. That's not what this is about. It's about you got merit. We want to keep you here.
You know, a big concern in the Hispanic community, both in Reno and Las Vegas, is Brian Krolicki's proposal to only give the Millennium Scholarship to students who have Social Security numbers. This wipes out this Millennium for all sons and daughters of undocumented workers. It's not their fault they're undocumented. That onus is on their responsibility is on their parents. So why do you want to cut all these hardworking Hispanic kids out of the Millennium Scholarship?
You know, we're aware of, we're aware of the Treasurer's proposal. We've not seen one instance yet where somebody's actually gotten it that wasn't a citizen. There are provisions that the president has proposed that going to college is one of the ways you might be able to get your citizenship, say you've invested in that community. I'm not sure there's a problem there. So we don't know, we're not real sure what this is all about. Nobody's really shown that we've had anybody
Well, I'm
get
going
in.
to hook you up with Nevada Hispanic Services, and perhaps they could tell you. That's all we got time for today. We'll be back with our pundit panel right after this. Thank you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers. Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
If it's fun, it's here at the Pepper Mill, the $100,000 video-themed slot celebration, with more winners each week, 100 random winners every Monday and Wednesday, and more cash prizes. $6,000 random drawings every Friday, plus chances to win up to $1,000 in free slot play on Mr. Money's Challenge. You'll have more fun with the Peppermills video-themed slot celebration, now worth over $100,000.
The slots that rock are at the Peppermill. Where are you winning?
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back. We have, on our pundit panel today, we have former Speaker Bob Barengo, Attorney Matt Sharp, and Marlene Lockard of Capital Strategies. Welcome all to you.
Well, we have a Board of Regents meeting coming up this week looking at a pay increase for President Lilly of University of Nevada, Reno. They would pay him the most of any president in Nevada, $227,000. What do you guys think about that after all that's been happening this year with the university?
Well, I think that's a very nice, healthy pay increase. The regents know better than probably all of us whether or not he's met his contract goals and objectives. I think there are some issues with his relationship to the community in northern Nevada, but you know, I'm sure all that will be discussed in a personnel session.
Mm-hmm. Bob, what do you think about President Lilly's public relations with the people in Reno?
Well, I think he's reached out to them. I'm on one of his advisory boards, and I think he's reached out to them. He's trying to. He has had some problems, like with the sheep and those issues. And there is the issue of the taking of the land around the university. I'm not sure they reached out to the community well enough to make everybody understand what they're trying to do. But by and large, I think he's trying hard to have relationships with the community.
Okay. We talked with Dean Heller about the possibility of Reno Assemblywoman Sharon Engel getting into the race for Congress. Matt, what's your view on Sharon Engel running for Congress?
Well, I think it's good because it'll get her out of the Assembly.
Now, why do you want her out of the Assembly, Matt?
I think that she's proven that she's not a good legislator. She doesn't build consensus. She builds dissension, and can't really think of anything positive she's done for the state.
So she would fit right in Congress then.
Well, and it's ironic that her property tax cap issue has really been, the cheerleader for that is now Dina Titus.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting how I've been seeing these emails from the Democrat Party lambasting Sharon for not voting for the property tax cap. This is going to be an issue that I think will benefit Dina Titus very much in the future.
I think Dina took a very responsible view and position on the property tax with her proposal for a freeze. You just talked to Mike Hillerby about a tax rebate. Well, in my view, there was no fairer way and more that the taxpayers could have received back through Dina's bill. And I think that was the proper position to have, and not so cumbersome as through this DMV rebate. The cost just of the bureaucratic cost of rebating those checks itself takes a big chunk out of what could be going back to the citizens.
Yeah, I would hope it would be applied to next year's, you know, when you register your car, you get a rebate instead of an actual check. But we'll see how that all plays out, no doubt.
Right.
Well, you know, sitting in the Assembly Education Committee, many of the people in there, they don't want a rebate. They want to see the money rolled back into programs, especially education programs. And so that would put a nix on the rebate idea. Bob, what do you think? Do you think the citizens of the state, the vehicle owners, deserve something back, or should we pour this into education?
I don't think that the rebate through the motor vehicle is the best way to do it, because I don't think, if you drive down the street right now, you look at the license plates, those people have been here a month, and they're going to get the rebate. Why should the new people, the people who pay the tax, should get the rebate? I think they ought to look at the taxes that were passed, find out which taxes are necessary, and maybe get rid of some of them, and then maybe look at some other methods of rebidding. I heard Ray Bacon on this program earlier in the week. He had an interesting idea, give it to voters. I'm not sure that's the way to do it either, but I think it needs to go back to the people who really paid the taxes. And then Chief of Staff Hillerby said they were going to fill some of the holes left in the tax rebates, in the property tax cap. I think that's an effective way to get money back to the people of the state of Nevada that need it.
Okay. You know what? One other thing that comes up today in the legislature is the hearing on the brothel tax, where the brothel owners of Nevada want to tax themselves as a way to ensure their future. They feel that if the state puts a tax on them later on down the line, when morals change in the state, perhaps not, they will be free from being outlawed. Matt, what are your ideas on this brothel tax?
Well, if they want to be taxed, I guess more power to them. I don't know that that would have any impact in the future upon whether the state would illegalize brothels in the rural counties.
You know, brothels are not legal as such. They are only not illegal.
Yeah.
And any county has the option to make them illegal if they wish. And any county can proceed against a brothel under the nuisance statutes. That's traditionally how they've been controlled. So if you have them paying into the county government, then the county government has less of a likelihood of going against them. That's why Story County always was a favorable place, as a significant amount of the Story County budget came from the brothel tax. So that's the history of it, and I think that's why the Brothel Association wants. You're exactly right. They want to do that to stay in business.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it's going to change anything.
Yeah. We got to wrap it up right there. Thank you all. We'll be back after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
It really was a matter of confusion, and I also had the stress on my wife was considerable too, as she ran around talking to the right people and trying to track down resources that would improve my health and make me independent again.
One-stop access for caregivers, NevadaCareConnection.org.
Thanks for watching.
See you tomorrow.